Okay, so three things. The first is look at this divine light. Um, the second thing is maybe a little bit politically incorrect, but I feel like there's all of this media out there um, that's now coming up against these sort of beauty ideals created by women, created by straight women and gay men. Um, that there's new stuff coming up against those ideals, saying that ugly people are attractive, which nobody believes. Um, but that there is actually a serious problem with attractive people. I mean, with women um, not knowing that they're attractive, and this is maybe rude, but with like almost attractive women, or like you know maybe attractive women not feeling like they're attractive at all. So it would be nice if these girls could feel good about their bodies, because I feel like right now all that's happening is these sort of campaigns that make people feel worse almost because they know that they're being targeted because they're ugly. Um, and that really, I mean, I've never really met an attractive girl in my life that knew it. And if they do sort of feel that way, it's inconsistent and it's much, much, much less than how attractive they actually are. So, yeah, it would be nice to be able to do this. Um, on the other hand, uh, you know how this is a great segue actually. People believe that, well, media is obviously very, you know, biased. Media is propaganda, more or less. I mean, there's very few media sources you can find that are actually going to give you, fair and balanced news. Um, and this is evident to everyone now. I mean, it was evident to a lot of people as of 2 years ago, but really, I mean, there were a lot of people that were still believing the news. But now I think it's like a really, in America, it's like very commonly held that like, you can't trust news sources. Um, circa 2016. And now I think the next step is, well, not necessarily the next step, but a parallel to this is with people's own minds, is that people tend to believe, I mean, people don't think that they're Albert Einstein, but they think that, their mind is something that is capable of, thinking about things in a somewhat fair and balanced way, at least more so than a propaganda newspaper is. Because they're seeing the paper as propaganda, they think that their mind is actually something that's can be somewhat objective, and so long as it isn't something that's like a type of math that you don't know how to do, that your mind is able to rationally look at the pieces, and you're able to think about the things that you're intellectually capable of thinking about. um, you've been tricked. You've been brainwashed by your own brain into thinking that it has your best interest and that it works in this way. um, your brain has a biased agenda equal to, if not stronger than, you know, pick your news source. You know, your brain will focus on its thing, whatever it is, which is not in your interest, and won't allow you to even consider other things because it decides these things. Um, and one of these things is a misconception as to what meditation is. Um, there's a lot of ignorance around meditation, and there shouldn't, you know, an explanation of meditation should not take longer than 10 seconds. If someone is spending more than 10 seconds telling you what meditating is, then they're not telling you what meditating is. Because meditating is focusing on the breath. That's what it is. So the reason I to be totally fair, the reason that people do go into greater detail is because of these misconceptions. You know, is it that you think about nothing? No, it's not that you think about nothing. Is it that you focus? No, it's not that you focus. Is it that you breathe in this very specific way? No, it's not that you breathe in this very specific way. You know, is it that you can't think? No, you can think. But you focus on the breath. So people say you let the thoughts come into your head. I don't even like this. You let them in the way that you let, you know, the way that, like, you let people in Russia walk around. Like, do I let people walk around in Russia? I guess technically yes, in the sense that I don't prevent them from doing this, but it's not something, you know, the letting, it's you know, it's a passive gesture. You know, it's not even in anything. So you let yourself think in this way, you know. You just, it's, yes, your mind is going to think. You focus on your breath. It's very simple. And once you start to do this, I mean, you'll see. But you realize this quality of the mind, that it really is, it's not a fair and balanced and open thing, because what happens is you then become able to think in new ways, and you don't have such an attachment to your old ways of thinking. You have a different idea. You're able to say that you're wrong a lot easier. You're able to be optimistic a lot easier, you know. You know, I had someone, he gave me this great advice once. He said, I follow two rules in life. I think he was quoting somebody else. He said, rule number 1 is don't sweat the little shit. And rule number 2 is it's all little shit. I thought that was really nice. And then we allegedly shared a joint, and then I went and hung out with these little baby chickens. They were so fucking cute. That was amazing. And this little turkey that I saved, and then it was definitely slaughtered, but I saved an animal's life. And it wasn't in one gesture. It was like, this turkey was dying. It wouldn't eat, it wouldn't drink. So I went like 10 times a day and would shove its, you know, if you take a baby bird and you put its face in water, it has to drink because it suffocates otherwise. And you may say that's cruel, but if I didn't do that, it would die. Because it wouldn't eat or drink on its own. So you shove its face in the food, eats the food, shove its face in the water, it drinks the water. I had to do this, and eventually it would start eating and drinking on its own. But it was so weak, it wouldn't even, it couldn't even walk, it couldn't even move. But then it got so strong. It needed that help to survive. I've been thinking a lot about not eating animal anymore until I live in the wilderness, and will have to. But for now, if I can find the right proteins here, then I think I'm gonna do it. And if I can afford it, I might need to start working, which would mean I'd have to go and get a work permit. But that would, I think be good. I also really shouldn't be eating any meat right now with my health. Like, I mean, it's okay. Like, chicken is okay. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, I had this amazing ramen last night. Like, restaurant ramen. You know, ramen at a restaurant here costs like what it costs to get ramen in the States. I mean, if you bought like 2 single packets of ramen, or 2 single like cup of noodles things, maybe even just one, that's what it costs to get a proper bowl of ramen. And here, like, the instant ramen is like, it's free. I mean, it's like, you know, pennies. If you're getting a big pack of it, it's like fucking free. Um, yeah. But it made me feel so happy, so good. I went and I thanked the chef afterwards. I was just like, thank you. Thank you. It felt really good, and there's like real, like, proper meat in it too. Because I eat a ton of meat here, but it's like, it's kind of shit meat. I mean, it's good. It's actually, for Asia, it's really good, I think. Um, but it's, you know, it's like you just get a little bit. Here it was like bigger pieces of meat, and it was like thicker pieces of meat. It's good. I think it's pretty good quality meat. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, this was really good. So it was really nice to like eat a big portion of food. Um, Felt really good because I never really do that unless I'm just eating like a ton of rice. I used to do that, yeah. Um, it's a really incorrect thing to do, the girls thing, but I think it's a really good idea. More on that. How did you guys like the reality is that you video? I really loved making that one. I felt really good about it. It reminded me sort of like a Shay St. John type of thing. Um, I like that. I like that aesthetic. I like with this whole channel to feel like I'm like kind of like this, crazy person that someone's gonna like come across and just like, obsess over my videos. Like, I found this guy on Facebook once when must have been like '08 or something like this. I just found this random man, and I would just like check up on him sometimes, you know. Not message him, but like just look at his page, see what he was up to, because he had like a public profile. You know, I want someone to have that with me and just be like, I want to see what like this motherfucker's doing, just because like I don't understand like this guy, you know. Um, and what I really like is these variety type videos, like where I'm mixing in the different stuff. I really like doing those. And when I'm asking you how you liked that video, I'm not like going to gear my content around that. I was just curious. I really hate when creators do that. It really, really does bother me when they're like, what should I be doing with my channel? It's like, I want to see what you want to do with your channel. Like, if I wanted to decide what to do, I'd make my own fucking channel, you know? I mean, I get where they're coming from. Also, shouts out to Grand Pooh Bear. Just like, so I've been watching him the most of anyone on YouTube, you know, not just anyone playing Super Mario Maker. Of anyone on YouTube. I watch him. His new videos go up around 10 p.m. my time, so I get to like watch his new video before I go to sleep usually. And he's, I mean, I'll get into the content, but just like him as a performer, like as a he does Let's Plays, and I mean he streams on Twitch and then uploads to YouTube, and has an editor. He's just such a charismatic guy. Like, he's so, and when he's at like the GDQ events, he'll just have the room, you know? Like when he's on the mic, it's just he's so, like, I've never said this about anyone before, but I feel like he would be great at stand-up comedy, because he really does have this gift of like creating an energy in the room, and just like being an MC, being an announcer. Like, it's really fun to hear just him, you know. He has a unique personality, and an interesting story too. I guess he was a professional snowboarder and had an injury, and then was playing video games a lot, and Shirley was doing this long before that too, but a lot, and then, you know, got into speedrunning. I think Mario 3 was what he started with. I could be wrong about that. And then, yeah, got really into the Kaizo hacks. And I think he's still, I don't know if he still holds records in Dram 2. I think he has the record for Dram. Super Dram World and Super, I'm not sure. Or is it just called Dram World? I don't remember. Dram World. I think it's Super Dram World. Panga's hacks of Super Mario World. Yeah, I had the worst first impression of Pooh ever, because the very first video I saw of his was him, and this was before I even knew about speedrunning. This was before I knew like about like sorry. I knew that there was like there was like Smash League, and I'd seen that the TAS video of SM Super Mario 3. I'd seen that video, the viral one. Um, way back, like pre YouTube. Um, and I'd seen some of the tasks like SM64 stuff, but I didn't know really about like Twitch. I didn't know about this at the time. I'd kind of just started watching Carl a little bit. Because I was watching Game Grumps. Like I knew like there was like I knew about PewDiePie, and I knew about like Markiplier and Jack, and like I was watching and Smosh, and I was watching Game Grumps play through Super Mario Maker. After I saw Markiplier do it, I think he was the first one I watched. Yeah. And then I found Dashi and Tom and D, and it was really early on. So I saw Pooh, Mario Maker had sort of just come out, and it was the video where Pooh was on the phone with Nintendo and was, not at his best. But it was so... Sorry. It was, 1 second, guys. It was so out of context for me because I didn't understand the significance of, like, your stars in Mario Maker, of, like, this being, like, a person's career, So it was super confusing to me, and I was just like, wow, this guy is such a dick, like, oh my god. And then I was, like, honestly, like, confused, like, seeing how he was so accepted in the community, because this was the only impression I had of the guy. But yeah, he's just such an incredible dude, and has such a heart. Like, it's like almost heartbreaking to see, like, when he's like, loses, or like he gets so sad about things and so happy about things, like a little boy. Like, it's like he's a fascinating guy, fascinating. Um, and just such a good person. And he just seems like recently he's just been like in such a good mood. Like, it's refreshing, because I watch Barb a lot. I watch Barb, and then I watch Pooh, and it's like, it's refreshing and I love Barb as well. But then when I watch Pooh play, I was like, wow, like, this guy really loves, Mario Maker even, and maybe Pooh would disagree, but it seems that way, like, I know that's where all the money is in Mario Maker, but, and then recently he's been playing, Barb's Hack and Odyssey, so it's, like, amazing, and we're getting, like, hour-long uploads of Odyssey, and yeah, so I commented on one of his videos about Exodus, like, who's his editor, like, doing more stuff, and how I was not as big of a fan of that. And I said right now it's okay, but, I didn't go into as much detail. But the thing that I don't like is when the jokes are kind of made at Pooh's, like, expense, or like when it's like we're laughing at Pooh. just because it reminds me of like what happened with Anthony, you know, um, and like when so Pooh has like a couple of memes. Um, the two biggest ones are giving donations and then having the text to speech say marbles, 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 marbles. And then the other one is that he doesn't have legs, which are pretty benign. I mean, I guess the next one would be that his shoulders are sexy. It's pretty benign stuff. And I know I'm talking about this, maybe over dramatically slightly. But I don't even think I am, because like with Anthony, I was watching him in, I don't need to say the year, but he's over a million now. I was watching his channel when it was pre 10K, and the comments were great. I mean, if there was a troll comment, it was me. People were giving insight about like what was happening in the video, and we all respected him. And then his videos, as he grew bigger, he got into more editing, and memes were developed. And now it's cancer in the comment section. It's like there isn't a comment that isn't like calling him melon. And there isn't a comment saying something about like him liking Death Grips or something like this. And there isn't a comment on, now it's even on Death Grips videos, it's like full of just people talking about the needle drop. So it attracts younger fans and people that aren't really as serious or respectful, and it blows up your channel. It gives you a higher quality of life monetarily, but it makes your job being a jester for snotty-nosed children, so that's the trade-off. And it's one Anthony, he's, I don't know, like, because he has his other channel, and I don't know, I think he likes to do the fake shitlord thing. I think he does enjoy making those videos, genuinely, but I don't think that he likes these comments at all, because they're not made with love, they're not. They're just people saying melon, it's just, he has not embraced that meme, and I don't think that Pooh, I don't know, and I just don't know if he knows what he's getting himself into. I just think that they need to be very careful with the types of editing that happen, because if they, become too much poking fun at Pooh, I mean, if all Exodus has to do is make something that's kind of meme-worthy, that's poking fun at Pooh, and these kids on YouTube, who don't even watch on Twitch, jump all over it, and then, he never hears the end of it for the rest of his career. So, that's that. Shouts out to Hobo Alley. And yeah. Oh, I have this song I've been working on. I want to show you guys. And no, it's not the Redemption song. Ha ha ha. pirates, yes, they're rabbi. Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. My hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We fought in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help me sing another song of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. Redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. And how long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've gotta fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing another song of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. Redemption songs. I'm also working on this progression. How does it start? It goes, no. Those are kind of the two pieces I have. I haven't decided what else yet. I was kind of playing around. This is probably not going to go into this song, but then I was playing around with something that was like, yeah, something fun like that. I was like, and then, so that's probably something else. And another little thing I was working around, just like these kind of Radiohead chords, like, something like this, you know? And the really Radiohead, you know, the Radiohead thing. I know it's like classical, it's not Radiohead, but it's so Radiohead though. Then the full Radiohead is the or that's like the Dirty Projectors one. But no, and like somehow getting over there. Not sure about that, if that'll ever be a thing. You know. Oh, I haven't played that song in a while. If you are falling, then I will catch you. Need a light, I got a match, 'cause I love the way you say good morning, and you take me the way I am. If you are chilly, here, take my sweater. Your head is aching, I'll make it better, 'cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am. I'll buy you Rogaine when you start losing all your hair. Sew on patches, 'cause all you tear, 'cause I love you more than I could promise, and you take me the way I am. Okay. Allahu Akbar on my dick. Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce on my dick. Allahu Akbar on my dick. Satan, Christ, and Colin Powell lick on my nuts while I apply Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce on my dick. Allahu Akbar on my dick. Oh, I can do... Oh, shit. I'm not going to say I'm going to give up on Case of You. It's just, it's an incredibly advanced song, and I'm not at that level yet. So... Well, I think it's a really pretty song. I don't know if I really have the drive right now to put so much time into learning that song, you know? It's like a pee break for me. You know? I realized it, like, at first I'm singing it and I'm like, okay, but then when I really start learning it, I'm like, wow, this song is like sort of 10 levels above Redemption songs, so. Just before our love was lost, you said, I am as constant as the northern star, and I said, constantly in the darkness, where's that at? If you need me, I'll be in the bar, on the back of a cartoon coaster, in the blue TV screen light. I drew a map of Canada, oh Canada, with your face sketched in it twice. You're in my blood like holy wine, tastes so bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you, darling, and I'd still be on my feet, I'd still be on my feet. Oh, I I remember the time you told me love is like touching souls. Well, surely you've touched mine, 'cause part of you pours out of me in these lines from time to time. You're in my blood like holy wine, tastes so bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you, darling, and I'd still be on my feet. I would still be on my feet. I met a woman, she had a mouth like yours, she knew your name, she knew your devils and your deeds, and she said, go to him, stay with him if you can, but be prepared to bleed. You're in my blood like holy wine, tastes so bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of